Have you ever been told there's nothing left for them to do? If you like to hear people's stories and want to be encouraged about the way God is working in others' lives, you have found a home right here at the Parable Podcast. Hi, I'm your host, Danielle Zapchenk, and joining me today is my friend Esther Lee, who shares about one of the seasons in her life where God was the closest to her.
There were times when I felt backstabbed by God, like we're living our life for you, and how could this be? How could this happen? Like I wanted to just take everything off my dresser, just slam it on the floor, and just as an outright act of like defiance to God, like this is what you made me do, like this is how angry I am. I feel like God is like, that's okay, Esther. That's an acceptable response.
Feel free to grab your tissues now. Here's my conversation with Esther Lee. I am excited to introduce you to my friend Esther Lee. Esther and I met last spring through our friend Kelly at the Baton Pass, and I've been honored to hear Esther's story before, and I'm just thrilled that we finally made this happen. It's two moms. We're making it happen. So Esther, welcome to the Parable Podcast.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here and talk with you.
All right. So Esther, just a fun couple of questions. Are you a person that likes amusement parks?
Yes and no.
Okay. All right. If you were to go to an amusement park, what would be your favorite ride?
I really like thrill rides. This is why I'm saying yes and no.
Yeah.
But now that I'm perimenopausal, I come off the ride and I feel like I need to puke.
Oh no, I feel you on that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Our kids are just at the age, they like roller coasters. I think our oldest loves them more than our younger one, but she just like goes on, and I think it's fun. And I don't even know if it's perimenopausal. Actually, as you get older, your inner ear changes. So that is what that brings, that nauseousness. And so, yeah, that's a real bummer because I do love a good roller coaster.
I really do too, but it's just like the sign that you're kind of getting up there, I suppose.
I guess it's a real bummer. Esther, you are a teacher. What grade do you teach, by the way?
I co-teach third grade. I'm the MLL specialist, so I work with the kids who are learning English.
If you were able to come up with like a whole new subject that you feel like this is what kids like need besides just the regular old math and social studies and science, what would it be about?
I have the perfect class, but it's for high school. And I think it would be how to help someone who's going through a hard time.
That is really good. There are so many like life skills that everyone's going to have to learn in time. But I mean, just like, nobody has a checkbook anymore, but how do you balance a checkbook? Like, what is a mortgage? Do you need an equity line? Those kinds of things I didn't even know, but those untangible things that you can't say like, oh yes, I know how to walk somebody through grief. Everybody would need. I think that's a beautiful class. All right. One last question. What do you most like about yourself and why?
That's a tough one because not because I have so many things I love about myself, but because I'm learning to love myself. I think through, as I get to know myself better. I think I like that I can laugh and that I can bring humor into places where it can be awkward or sad. I think that sometimes levity is important. And so, I think that people would say I'm funny and I like to enjoy laughing and like to make people laugh too.
That's good. I love levity. If I can figure out a way to bring a joke back around to the end of a night, I think that I've succeeded. One of the times, I don't know if I've ever said this on the podcast, if somebody tells me like, oh, that person really doesn't laugh or they don't have a sense of humor, now it will be my life's goal to make sure like they laugh. There was a guy that came to do some electrical work like a while ago on our house. I'm like, I am getting him to laugh. And I did the last day. I was just like, yes.
Oh my gosh. Now I'm curious what the joke was. How did you come to laugh?
I have no idea. It was, I'm sure, something about electrical work. I warmed up to him, every day. And I don't even remember. It's been a while, but I do remember he smiled. And then
I'm all about those corny jokes too.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, Esther, before we jump into your parable, why don't you tell people maybe what you're passionate about, what you do day to day?
Okay, yeah, I'm a teacher by trade, but the role that I enjoy the most is being a mom. I have 3 kids, 1 in heaven, so 4 kids, 3 on earth, and I just really enjoy bringing them alongside me in our spiritual journey together. I really enjoy telling them about God and like discipling them, but also wanting to be someone that they can confide in and that they can see as like a lifelong person in their life. I think that my parents did a beautiful job helping me see that I really need them, and I want my kids to be able to find that safe place in me too. And then also, I like to write, so that's a nice pastime that I enjoy. Definitely don't have as much time for that. As I said, there's a lot of things going on, but really enjoy. That's a really great way for me to release some of the things that I'm thinking and feeling and make something kind of beautiful out of whatever.
Now, do you just journal yourself? Is it memoir style? Is it sci-fi, fantasy? Like, what do you prefer writing?
I do enjoy kind of journaling, but I will do it on a more public platform and just so that other people who are going through grief and cancer specifically can have a place where they feel seen and understood and encouraged. And so, I do have a Facebook page where I chronicled Ava's journey, my daughter's journey, the one who is now in heaven with the Lord. And that was just a huge cathartic release to be able to, at the end of the day, write down what I'm going through. And it was kind of like my own psalms to the Lord, really just pouring out my heart and saying, like, I can't believe we're doing this right now. I can't believe we're in this, but really wanting so much to see God in all of it. And then I also wrote a children's book.
Just a couple things. All right. What was your children's book about? Was that in the same vein?
Yeah, it was about food allergies because my daughter, Ava, had severe food allergies. And so before she had cancer, we went through a huge roller coaster of medical maladies, I guess, with all of her food allergies. And so this was a book I wrote before she got cancer, and I wrote it and she read it. So that's really special. She got to read the book and even respond to it. And then we tabled it because of very shortly after she was diagnosed with leukemia. And so I set it aside for a long while. But then this summer, I was going through a really tough time and really needed a place for my love to land. And so I picked that book back up and finished it off. And I got it published, and I'm really happy.
That's so great. How lovely that came back around at a later date. That's really special, Esther. I think you know this about me. Parable stories are really important to me. I think that's how I'm able to connect with other people, to build empathy, understanding, and even deepen my own relationship with God by hearing other people's relationships. So I'd love for you to share with us one of your parable stories tonight.
Sure. When I was thinking about this and what I would share, I wanted to share one of the most significant moment in my journey with God where I felt like He was the closest to me.
Yeah.
And that happened the last year of Ava's life. We were in Wisconsin for our kind of like our last, our last chance, our last opportunity to get her to a better place. And this was right after we had gone through transplant, and it was a relapse, and we were told in Seattle that there was nothing left for them to do. And so we reached out to Wisconsin, which was closer to where we are. We live in Chicago, and we were able to get in with them. And so we flew Ava back from Seattle to Wisconsin. And I remember she was in so much pain because the cancer was just crushing her bones from the inside out. And she was such an amazing person. And I wish that there was just not enough time in the world to talk about how amazing she was. But on the plane ride back, we were gifted business class seats so that we can get her home comfortably. And I remember thinking, and she was like groaning a lot because of the pain that she was in. And I just remember thinking, if anybody says anything about the noises she's making, I'm going to punch them in the throat. Yes. Like, they just don't know that this is a girl that's dying on this plane. And so we got her home and we got her to Wisconsin, and there they started a whole new protocol, hoping to get her into remission to get to a second transplant. But this story takes place when we found out that there would really be no second transplant. She was deteriorating quickly, the cancer cells were growing, and our hope was quickly fading. And so it was a night we were in the hospital, and she was laying next to me and just in a lot of pain and a lot of fear. And she was, crying, Mama, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I wish I were better. And just being that 8-year-old child, that she was, just confiding in me. And I remember I prayed over her and I said, please go to bed. And I was like stroking her head. And as I was whispering in her ear, I said, it's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. I'm here. You're going to be okay. And I remember her, just her breathing slowed down, her heart rate. She was hooked up to all these monitors. Her heart rate slowed down, and she just kind of went into sleep, knowing that I was right there next to her. And you can just kind of see the physical response of me being by her side. And so as soon as she went to bed, I went into the bathroom and got a towel and laid it on the floor. And then I just fell to my knees, and I just praying before God, bringing all of my grief, knowing that I'm telling her it's okay, but I actually don't know if it's going to be okay. And I got to be the child now, and I was laying there on the floor, with my head to the ground. The snot was coming out sideways onto the floor. And I remember just feeling so very, very sad about the possibility of losing my child. And how do you prepare for that? You just can't prepare your heart, no matter how much hope you have in heaven. Letting go of that physical, relationship is just so difficult. And so as I was laying there praying and pleading with the Lord, that He would take this pain away, that I couldn't do it, that it couldn't be me that would bury my daughter. I couldn't do it, and that's when I had the most amazing vision of God, not up above, but actually right to me on the hospital floor with His hands kind of covering me so that no more darkness could enter, and so that I could be protected from this incredible pain. And that was the moment where I was like, wow, God is not up high above looking down at me thinking why can't you handle this, Esther? I only give you what you can handle, Why don't you trust more? Where's your faith? It wasn't God up above looking down and being disappointed in me. It was God that was on the floor with me, on the hospital floor, covering me with His kindness and being so broken, crying with me that this is the reality of this broken world that we live in. And so, that was just something that was really shifted my faith. I walked with the Lord for 40 years. I don't know, as long as I can remember. I've been, walking with God, and that was the moment when I realized how true it is that God is with us. The valley.
Esther, thank you for sharing. We honor Ava's life, just sweet 8 years old. As a parent myself, you just think I'm sure you walked through this as well. This can't be our journey. There is hope. And then to have someone say to you at the hospital, there's nothing for them left to do. Your hope shatters at that moment, because you're just thinking, okay, well, we've gone to this plan A, plan B. We've tried the treatments. We've tried the transplants. Would you say in that, while you felt God so close in that hospital bathroom floor, during that season of, first figuring out she had food allergies to now her cancer journey, did you say I don't know if I have enough hope to get through this?
I think that's also when I learned that I can be real with God. I'm also a pastor's wife. And so part of that role makes it feel like you just have to show the best sides of the most faith. And I think during that journey is when God showed me that he can handle the anger that I have, the questioning. There were times when I felt backstabbed by God, like, we're living our life for you, and how could this be? How could this happen? And I remember one time, one of my journal entries is just feeling so pissed off. Like, I wanted to like just take everything off my dresser and just slam it on the floor. Yeah. And just as an outright act of like defiance to God, like, you know, this is what you made me do. Like, this is how angry I am. And I feel like God is like, okay, that's okay, Esther. Yeah. That's an acceptable response. So yeah, I feel like that journey really helped me see God in like so many more multifaceted ways of like someone who loves us so deeply that he can see us in all of who we are and love us through that. And because of that, even one of the verses that I hold really close to my heart ever since I was young was Isaiah 49:15. And it says, "Can a mother forget the baby at her breast and have no compassion on the child she has born? Though she may forget you, I will never forget you. See, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. Your walls are ever before me." And I love that verse because it shows God as like even a mother, like the way that he loves us is like how I love my children as a mother. Yeah. You know? Yeah, I think it's different than a father. I don't know. It's
you know, I work with a lot of women in ministry and leadership in churches. And I think that's just so helpful to know that God is God. You know, we immediately like think, okay, male, so that there's just that father role. But we do forget, like there's so many verses like that one in the Bible where God mothers us in a way that we so desperately need to be mothered in certain moments. And I like that you used the word multifaceted because, you know, we think we have this vision of what God is, like what you're talking about, like God was above us. He was above you in that moment, but you recognize he is with us. So gosh, just like our faith in life, I feel is ever changing and ever growing just because God is a large concept that we fully will never understand. Right. When you said, I don't feel like I was prepared for grief, I don't think anyone ever is. You'd even said earlier, if you'd picked a subject in school, it would be like to help people walk through grief. Speak to me a little bit about, you know, once Ava passed, this grief journey. I mean, it is a roller coaster and it is like ever flowing. I don't think grief ever ends. It's more of cyclical. But maybe talk to me about that first year after, which I know can be quite hard, specifically after you lose a loved one.
I don't remember the first year at all.
Good.
Okay. But it was just the body's defense mechanism. My best friend we love laughing about how she'll be like, oh, I already told you that. And I have no recollection of it. And she's like, it was the first year. It was the first year. So we have so many stories, so many things actually happened. And I have amnesia. But I will say that the second year was a lot harder than the first year. Interestingly, I don't know if you hear that. Yeah, the first year you're sort of protected by some of that, your body protecting itself, but also everyone's like very supportive. You have all of that support around you. And then by the second year, I don't think anyone means to, but it just feels kind of like, all right, now time to get going, you know, like let's put this behind us. And I think that that pain is a little bit hard. And that's why I think that grieving class is like really important. Like what to say, what not to say, how to help, how not to help.
Yes. How not to help. Okay. Oh my goodness. You know, going back to that thought you had talked about earlier when you were just like so angered, which you have every right to be. And as a pastor's wife, you're just like, I either have to put up a front or I have to show like God is glorious and he's going to make a way through this. And I feel great in this journey. For anyone walking through life as a Christian, sometimes we feel like we have to have this Pollyanna, like happy-go-lucky approach. And I wholeheartedly disagree with that. I know joy is my natural inclination, but like when I'm like in it, like I love to feel my feelings. So, yeah, that can be really challenging when people are looking towards you or just thinking about like, is it okay to have anger? Is it okay to just feel my feelings? So, yeah, could you just like tap a little bit more into that?
So really interesting to find that some of my posts about the anger that I had was like more well received than, let's just say, like, a platitude or, just trying to get through it and with a smile on my face. And I noticed, that people could really relate to that, because I think as Christians, like you said, like some of these words are so taboo, like angry at God, depressed. You're a Christian. Can you be depressed? Can you, I don't know, feel jealous that other people made it through this cancer journey with the child that's alive? Like, can you feel are you allowed? And I think as I was honest about my journey, it blessed the people that could see how it was relatable to them. And most importantly, I think the bereaved moms that were reading my page felt seen, like, oh my gosh, like here's someone that's like actually saying it, like I'm mad and that's okay. Yeah.
On the other side of your life now, when you look back, obviously Ava is probably still heavy in your heart, in your mind day to day. But what does life look now as Esther, just walking through life, knowing like I have lost a child? Like, how does that make you come across into the world as you teach, as you parent?
It's a great question. I think first and foremost, I don't take it for granted, the moments that I have with my kids. I think that it is so fast and I'm not perfect at it. In fact, like my kids will be like, you're not good at it at all. But I try to be super intentional about wanting to spend time with my kids and wanting to have those memories that we can build together. I think as a person, sometimes I feel like when I'm going through a real rough patch, I have to like coach myself like, hey, you've been through the worst thing anyone could ever go through and you are alive and you're doing it. And so, have some more confidence, also have a lot of grace for yourself when it's not going, when you're not being the best person that you can be. And so, I think I carry it, like you said, I carry it with me everywhere like a backpack, and I'm working through it. Definitely bringing it to the Lord, with my friends, with therapy. Like I'm really working through the grief, but it has changed me as a person.
I love that you said you're intentional with your kids. How has that been helping your own kids while you're dealing with grief, walking with them through their own grief as children?
I've done a lot of things wrong, but I think the one thing that...
Good. See, it's okay.
Let me start with that. But the one thing that I'm really thankful that I got the advice of before, going through this actual journey was to process my grief with them, because I think I've known way too many people who kind of do it on their own or kind of like shove it down. And so then that child's name is like not spoken. And then the kids have to go through their own kind of reconciliation and processing without the guidance of like an adult. Yeah. And so Ava's name is said all the time. We have pictures of her. We talk about her. We laugh. We cry. Just even recently, my 14-year-old, who was 6 at the time that her big sister passed away, was just crying about it the other day. She's like, I don't know if I'm processing my grief. And so even the fact that she has that language is like, I'm so proud of the fact that we've created a safe place in our family to talk about feelings and to talk especially about death and how we can go through that as believers, but also as a very sad part of our family's history.
That's significant. Thank you for sharing that. Ava was 8 when she passed, and it's been 8 years. If you could go back and if you could kneel down next to yourself when you were on that hospital floor, God's on one side and your future self is on the other. And if you could just like whisper into your ear, what would you tell yourself in that moment?
I think I would tell myself that it's going to be okay, that it won't be easy, but that we are going to get through it as a family. And most importantly, that we were able to just beautifully send Ava off straight into the arms of the Father. It's just a beautiful story, the way that she passed. I mean, it's horrific and beautiful at the same time. It was New Year's Eve, and we were at Lurie's, and I mean, it was New Year's Eve. Like, how is anyone going to get into the city? But Ava was failing pretty quickly. And so we made the call and said, all the grandparents, all the uncles and aunts that can make it to the city, like, come now. And they all came, and we were able to pull out all the tubes that were in her that caused me from being able to hold her for so many weeks. And I was able to kiss her on her mouth, something I hadn't been able to do, like, in like a year because of how immunocompromised she was. And we were able to just surround her. So she was surrounded by all the people she loved. And she made it until 1 minute into the New Year's when she passed away. So yeah, by the time everybody came, she took her last breath when everybody was there. And we just knew that God was right there, taking her from my arms into his. And so her heart rate, the other thing that happened was her heart rate was like trilling, like in the 300s. And I just felt like maybe that was just like her excitement of like seeing the world. I don't know, like, but I know one day I will know. And so I would want to tell young Esther, like, it will be okay. And it's okay if it's not okay.
Yes.
It's okay if it's not okay. And that's something I tell myself every day. I don't have to be this person that everyone looks up to. Oh, look at how she got through grief so well. Like, I'm a mess, and it's okay.
You're a warrior for sure. Oh, Esther, I've heard your story a couple times, and I'm just like so grateful. Gosh, we just honor Ava's life, the way that you mothered her, how you're still mothering your kids, and just like honoring God in every step of the way that is hard and brutal and beautiful at the same time. So thank you so much for choosing to share your story again with me. I'm so grateful. If people wanted to find that book of yours or read anything that you've written before, what's the best way that they could do that?
I still pretty actively post on my Facebook page, and it's Team Brighter Days, and that's sort of the whole chronicle of her journey is on there. And then the book that I recently wrote is called Love Cakes, and it's on Amazon. And it's a children's story for around 4 to 10 years of age about food allergies. So.
Great. Well, I'm going to put all of Esther's information in today's show notes. Esther Lee, thank you so much for being on the Parable Podcast.
Thank you.
To be able to know that that was the moment God was closest to you on a hospital room floor, like, wow, I am so grateful for Esther's story, for Ava's life, and just how Esther has shared so beautifully with us about everything is just an honor. If you want to connect with Esther, simply visit DanielleZapchenk.com for details. And here are 2 reflection questions from our time together. Number 1, I'd love for you to journal about when was the last time you felt the closest to God and why. Number 2, we can never prepare for grief, but we can know that it is okay to have emotions with God. So are you currently feeling like you are holding any kind of emotion back from Him, and why? Could you do me a favor and share this episode with a friend or maybe a family member who is walking through child loss or grief, as this conversation, I think, would be an encouragement to them. Thanks again to my husband, Eric Zapchenk, our editor-in-chief here, and we hope that you are encouraged to think about your own story. Remember, your parable showcases how we can see God when we are kneeling on a hospital room floor. We'll see you back again next week on the Parable Podcast.